For a closer look at the challenges we face in air travel, we're joined by Josh Enomoto. He's a contributor for the financial news outlet Tip Ranks and Fintel. Good to see you. It has been a wild summer. Let's just start. Are things getting better?
Well, it's a difficult situation for sure, and I think it really depends on the economy. The inflation has started to seep into the travel demand. So, for instance, the purchasing power of the U.S. dollar has declined almost about 12.9% since the beginning of the pandemic. So basically, we're talking about the currency erosion. We're talking, it's the equivalent of 13 cents on the dollar. So every $100 you have, you actually have 87 dollars. So at scale, that is going to have a massive impact. So projecting the travel demand will largely depend upon the economy and also the Federal Reserve.
But I mean, I'm talking about the travelers.
Sure.
You know, our good friend Kramer recently traveled. We had Nanuka that was traveling. We've got people traveling from this network everywhere, and every time they come back, they talk about the chaos at the airports. They talk about the chaos at the security lines. It just seems to me that this is a travel nightmare that we knew for the past 8, 9, 10 weeks, and the government hasn't done anything to fix it. The private sector has been slow to fix it, and I don't know what needs to happen, but this is abysmal. It's not just in the U.S., it's also in Europe as well.
Sure. Well, let me address some of the pain points in the travel industry. It's an incredibly difficult circumstance because while you can throw money at the problem, for instance, the various enterprises within the travel industry, the travel infrastructure, they could hire more people to fix certain shortages. But you also have to remember the bullwhip effect that happened in the retail industry. So to frame it this way, Walmart and Target, they anticipated a demand level that simply wasn't there. And so now they're sitting on a bunch of inventory that they don't know what to do with. And I believe that's the challenge that the airports and other components of the travel infrastructure they're facing, because if they hire too many people now,
right,
if the economy declines later, they're going to have an oversupply of workers, and then they're going to have to engage in layoffs and other have liabilities on their books, such as unemployment insurance problems. So it's a convoluted situation. There's really no easy fix.
I got it. I mean, I'm just saying, it's hard to feel sorry, and I think a lot of people agree. The airlines took a lot of money from the government during the pandemic to keep the employees. Now they're saying they don't have. I'm just saying that is a very controversial point that you bring up. I was reading earlier that American Airlines was saying that to remedy the situation, they're actually going to cut back on flights, and we're hearing more and more airlines do that. Do you think? Well, I guess the answer is yes. By cutting back the flights, it would, I guess, help the shortage of staff. But we're trying to also get back to normal in terms of travel, both personally and professionally. From a business perspective, we're looking at Asia opening up now. They're, a couple months behind what we saw in Europe. So if Asia follows Europe, we're going to see this massive demand of people from Asia traveling and us traveling to Asia. And this whole problem is going to start over again.
Yeah, well, the issue with Asia is, as you pointed out, the demand is actually there. But however, there is a bifurcation in the Asian travel market. So Southeast Asian countries like Singapore, they have relaxed their COVID protocols. And subsequently, because of that relaxation, we have that country has experienced a tremendous increase in tourism. Now, you look at, on the Far East side, you look at countries like China and Japan. So Japan specifically, it is open for tourism, but only for group travel. So the itineraries are highly controlled and limited. And so that kind of imposition against personal mobility is a really tough sell to American travelers and Western travelers that have in their respective countries, they have seen this relaxing of COVID protocols.
Right.
To ask them to re-engage with the protocols, I think that is a very difficult sell. So I think in terms of Asia specifically, it depends on the government agencies' COVID protocols.
Let's bring it back here in the U.S. We got a lot of friends, you and I, who are traveling before summer ends. Give me one piece of good news, because I think we need it when it comes to flying.
Well, the one piece of good news, there is one area that is that people can control for themselves, and that is flexibility. So, for instance, I'm in San Diego. It makes more sense to go up to LA and fly out of LAX, because that is a hub for major international carriers. Of course, we do have some international carriers here in San Diego, but it's a limited option. So if you're flexible in terms of where you depart from, and also on what days that you wish to fly, there are some deals out there.
All right, that is good news. I'll also throw in there, airlines are still offering people to change their flights for free. At least most of them are. Josh, thank you so much. Absolutely grateful for your contribution here on The Move. Josh Enomoto, excellent stuff.